Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today's topic is we're talking about winter stockpile grazing and some of the different techniques that we're using. And just wanted to kind of share with you some of the topics as far as our success ratio. And we're looking at basically, instead of locking the animals up for 30 days and what we call it, the whole farm rest, not grazing it, we're tipping it. And so I want Ben, I'm going to start with you. What are we talking about when we're tipping the grass across all 1,600 acres?
So you're sort of mimicking like what you were doing in the spring when you're grazing for the spring flush, but you're doing it for a different reason, because the grass is not growing anywhere near as fast as it was in the spring flush, and so but you're tipping it still, because what you're doing is you're leaving a maximum amount of plant area or leaf area left in the plant, which is going to increase the speed of your regrowth, which like allows you to take advantage of the those little like warm days or sunny spots that you have in the fall, like right before you get into winter, and so you'll end up getting actually some regrowth, which is critical, even though it's not ideal growing conditions. So you end up effectively creating your entire farm as a stockpile area, as opposed to just like one spot that you're going to put them for the winter. You can grow a lot more feed that way. But we were talking before we started filming about how there's also a secondary benefit to doing that, because right before winter the animals are eating the most palatable, like highest gains part of the plant, and so they're maximizing the amount of weight that they get to put on right before they get into the harshest time of the year. So you end up like maximizing your feed and maximizing your animal performance like right before times are about to get leaner.
That's a win-win.
Huge advantage of being able to do that.
Absolutely. Well, Isaac, you talk a little bit about the animal performance part of this.
Yeah, like the alternative to what we're doing with like the tipping and keeping the whole farm as a stockpile is you can take your cattle and put them up in like a sacrifice paddock and feed them dry hay to let your farm recover and grow stockpile for the winter. The problem with that is cattle go from, in the summer, they're grazing, grass, luscious grass, putting on weight. You stick them in that dry lot and feeding them hay, they're just going to go downhill. They're not going to have the nutrition requirements that they need, and any of the fat reserves that you've been putting on them for the winter, they're just going to go out the door. And so, like, there's certain instances where that's important, is like if you don't have the forage to make it through the winter, then maybe that's something you need to look into.
Right.
But like, this is obviously a better, both economically, because you're not having to feed hay, and you're growing more forage, but at the same time you're not sacrificing animal performance to do that. So it's just like a win-win, like we were talking about.
Win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
I've created a saying, and y'all probably heard me say it before. I'll say it again. It takes grass to grow grass.
Yep.
And everybody thinks, oh, if I don't graze it all off, we've wasted it. Does this look like waste around here?
No.
I mean, look what y'all are standing in.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac, grab that plant right there.
It was up to my hip earlier.
Look at
almost.
that. Yeah, it's clear up.
That's just fescue.
Yes,
Kentucky
fescue.
31 fescue. And what they don't graze, we're gonna come back through, and they're gonna have more to graze in the winter when everything else has gone dormant. The fescue is still gonna stay green.
So, guys, we just split this bottom in two. This is a 12-acre field, and in the summertime we'd have split this into thirds. Mm-hmm. So we give them about 4 acres per move. But what did we do a while ago on this field?
Two rotations ago, so this will be the third time we've grazed it so far. I think third time. But the first time when we came in here, the seed heads were already being put on the plants, and there's a video out there on the channel about it where we absolutely steamrolled this entire field. We split it up into smaller sections, and we were back fencing them with a lane back to the water every time. And so we got like perfect trampling. They consumed 30%. They laid down a lot of forage. Probably 20% was left standing at the most. And you don't want to necessarily do that every time because you're pushing the animals a little bit, but it really benefited because we got a rain immediately after that. And then the next time we came back in it, there was some really palatable stuff to be had.
And the next time we came through, we didn't graze it very hard. I think we split it in twice. Two paddocks last time too. So we kind of like left a little bit so that it'd regrow, and so that helped us in this, because now this is probably the best looking forage on the farm right now.
I made the comment after we left this paddock, it looked like we'd brush hogged it.
Yeah. The first time.
The mob did that for us.
And it's like important to note that like this wouldn't look this way if we hadn't grazed it like properly way back in the spring.
Correct.
So you're really, like you say this all the time, like your stockpile is not grown in the fall when you're doing this tipping. It's really proper management a lot earlier in the growing season.
Right, because if you wait till fall and you try and grow your winter stockpile and you've only got 2 inches of grass left out there, you're not going to grow anything.
Don't have enough solar collector.
Yeah. So the other day, so we got a rain 3 days ago, and then yesterday we got an 80-degree day. And you can look in the pastures that we've been doing this skip grazing.
Yep.
And there's 2-3 inches of fescue growing just from that 80-degree day with a little bit of moisture. That's like just being able to leave the plant material behind is able to grow that little bit. I mean, that's huge. You think about 2 to 3 inches all through the farm.
That's a lot of forage.
That's a lot of forage and hay that you're saving in the winter. So.
And Ben, you mentioned a while ago we haven't had a rain for almost 2 months.
Yeah, almost 2 since. Like this week, we've had some wet weather, but before then, it was dry. It was really dry.
September 10th.
Yeah, the grazing school, for those who are at the grazing school, that rain was the only rain we had in the month of September
and October.
And October until now.
Yeah. Yes.
And August was pretty dry. It was dry in the second half of August, too. So we'd been hurting for some rain, and the forage still looks like this, which is pretty crazy.
Beautiful.
It's 40 degrees out, going down to like freezing temperatures, and we still got grasshoppers and bug life hanging out.
I opened up the canopy a while ago, guys, while y'all were putting that wire in. I just wanted to look down the ground surface, and there's all kinds of life crawling around down there. So that was pretty cool. I mean, it's cold out here, but there's still a lot of life. And I like what I see out here. This is the old famed cocklebur field. This is solid cockleburs. Ben found one right there. There it is. Yeah, it was solid those. But you know, you can literally walk this field and you might find 5 or 6. Folks, it was 100% burrs. There wasn't anything out here but burrs. And so we've changed it. We've changed it just with management and some time. And everybody wants it to change tomorrow. So this was a soybean field. So when you're taking cropped land and then you're turning it back to grass, I recommend the first thing to do is try and get something growing on it. And you can do that either with cover crops, you know, you can drill something in. I didn't do that. We unrolled hay on it. And so we started putting carbon on it. And of course that hay had tons of seed in it, and we just started moving forward from there. And every winter we tried to unroll some hay down here. And today you can go out here with a spade and dig anywhere you want. You're going to find earthworms.
And we were saying earlier how we were walking across the paddock. It felt like we were walking on a sponge.
It's soft.
You can feel it.
And roots and just like
it's
just aerating the soil.
It's alive.
Yeah.
It's alive. And
here I was gonna show you another benefit of leaving it tall like this.
Yep.
Look at what the deer have been doing. Taking off just the tips of the clover.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Right there. So all you hunters out there, right there too.
Yeah, there's another one.
It's like a huge food plot for the deer, and we've seen the deer like crazy down in this bottom.
We came in here the other day and we counted, was it 11 before we left the farm?
Yeah, they ran down this little tree line and then up and into that woods.
Yep. So we've got deer, and I can see why we have deer. I mean, this is like a food plot out here.
So like what we're doing with the tipping, it's not only benefiting the cattle and the grass, but it's benefiting the wildlife too. It's crazy. It's
absolutely.
Like, the more systems you can benefit, the better. So.
Well, I just had dinner with our lifetime lease owner last night, and they took some friends and walked their farm yesterday. And he said, "Greg," he said, "the whole place looks like a food plot. The clover is just unbelievable." And this guy's a deer hunter, and so that was music to my ears, hearing that their place looked like a food plot. And that, folks, that's courtesy of our cows. So Isaac and Ben and I, we just left another deer hunter's place, actually 2 of them on the back of this farm, and he sent me a really nice email, one of the landowners did, and he goes, "Greg, I'm just so thankful that you're the manager of our farm." And he said, "We just can't believe how beautiful it looks," and he said, "We're just so excited with hunting season coming on." And so I asked him when we went in there, I said, "You know, we're going to only be in there for 1 day. Normally we're there for 3 to 4 days." We split that whole farm in 2 and just hit it, bam, bam. 12 hours, and we were gone. So deer season's about 3 weeks off. So we tipped it. We just went in and kind of tipped it. And so for deer season, they're going to have this beautiful, succulent, tender forage all over the whole farm. It's one giant food plot. That's what it is. So you can use animals to really help you in many, many ways, and that's just one of them. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. You know, we got winter coming at us. We've got this to feed our animals. Folks, by not taking it down too short right now, we're guaranteeing ourselves another rotation through here. We counted up, we're going to have, you know, between hay feeding, we may not have to feed hay till sometime, you know, middle to latter part of January. And it all depends. Mother Nature could give us 20 inches of snow in 2 weeks.
And we're feeding hay.
And then we're feeding hay. You know, that's why you got that, we call it insurance, sitting up there on the hill.
Well, didn't we factor it out? We counted the days with what we have bales here and forage potentially.
Yep.
And it's like, what, 50 days of grazing on this one farm?
Just on this farm.
So that's like, what, a third of the winter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
Maybe half.
So that's exciting to me. And you know, when you can graze when everything is brown and everybody else is feeding hay, they're kind of stuck. You know, they don't have anything left. But it comes with management, folks. You got to manage your grass, and right now is a critical time. So we're excited. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Ben and Isaac have moved the mob. We put in paddocks, and this is Friday, so we don't have to do anything the rest of the weekend other than roll a wire up. So we'll see you all down the road. Hit that subscribe button on the way out for you new folks, and the like. I'd appreciate it. And everyone take care.